welcome to the deep dive. We have something incredibly special lined up for you today.
We really do. And honestly, it's about time we tackle this.
Yeah, it is. This is a custom-tailored deep dive designed to answer one massive game-changing question. And that is, how do you actually build the ultimate AI tech stack for a brand new service business in the year 2026?
Welcome to SBAI, Service Business AI, where modern service businesses scale smarter with artificial intelligence.
Right. Because if you're listening to this, you're probably hearing about AI everywhere. I mean, every meeting, every headline.
Every tech blog.
Exactly. They're all just screaming about artificial intelligence. But from the perspective of an everyday person, someone who actually has to, run a business, balance a budget, deal with clients, it can all feel a bit like noise.
Just a lot of buzzwords.
Yeah, totally. So I am really eager to unpack this material with you, but I'm going to be demanding practical, real-world applications today. No fluff. I want to know what this looks like for the person working out of their garage, not just a Silicon Valley tech startup.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Our mission today is to take these massive, intimidating AI trends and translate them into a completely accessible, step-by-step toolkit that you can use right now.
Which is exactly what people need.
We've pulled from a comprehensive stack of 2026 sources. We're talking detailed guides from automation platforms like ActivePieces and Zapier, deep dives into AI app builders like Lovable, and a massive breakdown of the absolute best AI customer relationship tools curated by Cybernews. We are going to build a business infrastructure from the ground up, entirely powered by AI.
Which is a huge promise.
It is.
So let's ground this right away. What is the actual shift happening here? Because to a lot of people, AI still just means a chatbot that helps you cheat on an essay, or maybe draft a polite email to a difficult client. What is the actual paradigm shift we're looking at?
Okay, let's unpack this with a really clear before and after image. 3 years ago, almost no small business used AI in a foundational way. If you wanted to build a business platform, launch an app, or completely automate your daily workflow, you basically had one path.
Right, you had to hire someone.
Exactly. It meant hiring a developer, spending thousands if not tens of thousands of dollars, and waiting months for a clunky first version. Or it meant you spending your entire weekend watching YouTube tutorials, trying to figure out how to stitch together a dozen different software subscriptions.
And usually failing.
Yeah, usually getting incredibly frustrated. But today, the businesses that are leveraging AI are running circles around the ones that aren't. You can describe your business idea to an AI in plain English using natural language, and you can quite literally have a working, functioning business platform live on the internet before you go to lunch.
See, that right there sounds like science fiction. I hear working platform before lunch, and my immediate reaction is skepticism. It sounds too good to be true.
I get that.
What does that actually look like for someone starting a regular, everyday service business? Say you're starting a consulting firm, a boutique marketing agency, or a landscaping business. Are we talking about a generic, ugly website or something that actually functions?
Here is where it gets really interesting, and this is a massive paradigm shift highlighted in the research from Lovable. The old conversation in business meetings used to be, we need to hire someone to build that, or let's put that on the roadmap for next quarter. Now, the default question is, can we just use AI for that?
And the answer is usually yes.
Almost always yes. We are moving away from AI just being a research assistant. We're entering the era where AI delivers tangible, finished outputs. We're talking about working software, automated workflows, and completely polished marketing assets. And it's all being driven by a concept called vibe coding.
Vibe coding. I have to stop you there because that sounds like internet slang designed to confuse people.
It really does.
If I'm a business owner, what on earth is vibe coding and why should I care about it?
I know it sounds a little wild, but it is a real documented term in our 2026 sources, and it represents a massive democratization of technology. Vibe coding simply means the ability to create software just by chatting with an AI in natural language. Absolutely no coding required on your part.
None at all.
None. You do not need to know Python, HTML, or CSS. You just describe the vibe or the function of what you want. You use platforms like Lovable or Bolt, and you literally just type into a chat box. You say, I need a client portal where my customers can log in, view their invoices, and book a consultation. The AI writes the code, builds the database, and designs the user interface right in front of your eyes.
So I am essentially acting as the project manager and the AI is the engineering team.
Exactly, you're the director.
But I want to make sure I'm grasping the reality of this. Let's create a hypothetical scenario to track this whole process. Let's imagine a guy named Marcus. Marcus works at a warehouse right now, but he loves cars, and he wants to start a mobile detailing business. He wants to drive to people's driveways and detail their cars while they work from home.
Great example.
Traditionally, Marcus would need a massive amount of capital just to get his booking system and website off the ground. How does vibe coding change Marcus's weekend?
It changes everything. Let's follow Marcus. In the past, Marcus would have to save up capital to hire an engineering team or a web agency to build his MVP. By the way, MVP stands for minimum viable product.
Right. The absolute basics.
Yeah, it's a fundamental concept in business. Basically, the first, simplest working version of your product that you can actually show to a customer to get them to pay you. For Marcus, his MVP is a website where people can see his prices, pick a time, and enter their home address.
Simple enough.
But before vibe coding, building that custom MVP would take months of back and forth with a developer. Today, Marcus sits down on a Saturday morning with a cup of coffee, opens Lovable, and types out what he needs. By Sunday evening, he has launched that MVP. He has bypassed the entire financial and technical barrier to entry.
That completely redefines who gets to be an entrepreneur. It's a massive psychological shift. Marcus doesn't have to feel like he's failing because he doesn't understand software architecture.
He can just focus on the cars.
Exactly. But let me push back a bit here. Building the app or the website is only step one. Once Marcus actually has his mobile detailing business running, he has data flying everywhere. He has emails coming in, leads from social media, calendar scheduling conflicts, and invoices to send. Does vibe coding handle all of the day-to-day operations?
Not exactly. Vibe coding builds the house, but to keep the house running, to manage the plumbing, the electricity, and the daily chores, we're seeing the rise of something called the AI orchestration layer.
Orchestration layer. Okay, that sounds incredibly like tech jargon. If I'm Marcus and I'm out in a driveway buffing a car hood, what does an orchestration layer mean for me on a daily basis?
Think of it as the invisible glue that holds your entire business together while you're out there buffing that car. AI is no longer just a single chatbot that you go to and ask questions.
No.
It's a layer of intelligence that sits across all of your different apps and makes them talk to each other seamlessly.
So they're all connected.
Right. Tools like Zapier, which connects over 8,000 different applications, or Active Pieces, which has hundreds of pre-built integrations, act as this glue. They allow AI agents to work autonomously in the background. So instead of Marcus finishing a detailed job, going to his truck, manually copying a client's email from his booking app, pasting it into his billing app, and then opening another app to send a thank you email.
Which is exhausting.
The orchestration layer does all of that heavy lifting automatically. The tools talk to each other, guided by AI, without Marcus having to touch his phone.
That is the grounding I'm looking for. Let's translate these massive trends to a random Tuesday morning for a business owner like Marcus, because the reality of running a service business is that you're wearing 10 different hats. You're the salesperson, the marketing department, the customer service rep, and the accountant, usually all before noon.
All at the same time.
What does the business owner actually experience with this new AI stack? What fundamentally changes in their daily work? Let's start with sales and keeping track of customers.
Let's start with the absolute lifeblood of any service business, which is managing your customer relationships. In the tech world, this is called a CRM, or Customer Relationship Management Tool. At its core, it's a highly intelligent digital address book that tracks every single interaction you have with a client, every email, every phone call, every dollar they have spent with you.
Right. And anyone who has run a business knows that before AI, managing a CRM was famously painful. It was the administrative work that everyone dreaded.
Absolutely.
It meant hours of manual data entry at the end of a long day. It meant constantly forgetting to follow up with people because your notes were scattered across messy, outdated spreadsheets and sticky notes on your monitor.
But after AI, it is a completely different world. Our sources point to platforms like Pipedrive, HubSpot, and Zoho. Let's look at Pipedrive. It has always had a highly visual drag-and-drop pipeline, but now it features an AI sales assistant. This assistant is constantly analyzing your data in the background. It automatically spots patterns that a human being would easily miss.
What kind of pattern?
Well, it actually scores your leads, meaning it uses behavior and historical data to guess which of your potential clients is most likely to actually buy a service right now. And then it gives you actionable nudges.
How does a nudge actually work in practice? Let's say Marcus has 50 past clients in a system.
On that random Tuesday morning, Marcus opens his computer, and instead of staring at a blank spreadsheet wondering who to call, the AI sales assistant pops up and says, "Hey Marcus, you haven't spoken to Sarah in 6 months. She usually gets her SUV detailed before winter, and the weather is turning next week. You should reach out. Here's a drafted email."
Wow, that is a massive shift from being reactive to being proactive. Instead of digging through past invoices trying to remember who might need a detail, the system is actively telling you where your time is best spent today to generate revenue.
Precisely. And let's move over to the marketing hat. Marcus is a new business. He probably doesn't have a massive budget to hire a creative agency, a copywriter, a graphic designer, and a videographer to make him look professional online.
Which is usually where new businesses struggle the most. They have a great service. Marcus might be the best detailer in the city, but their marketing materials look amateur because they're doing it all themselves late at night on their phone.
Yeah, using bad lighting and terrible fonts.
It creates a disconnect. People see amateur marketing and assume an amateur service. How does the AI tech stack fix that without breaking the bank?
You essentially build a bespoke, highly skilled AI creative team. Let's break it down by medium. For writing, you bring in tools like Jasper or Writer. These are not just advanced spell checkers. They generate entire blog posts, Facebook ad copy, or email campaigns based on a simple prompt.
So no more staring at a blank page.
None. And you use Grammarly in real time, not just to fix commas, but to adjust the core tone of your communication. Marcus might write a really blunt rush email because he is exhausted. He can tell Grammarly, "Make this sound more professional and appreciative," and it rewrites it instantly, preserving his relationship with the client.
That takes care of the written content, which is a huge time saver. But what about the visuals? Because stock photos of generic cars aren't going to convince someone to hire Marcus. Stock photos get old and feel inauthentic very quickly.
For visuals, our sources highlight Canva Magic Studio, which has been an absolute game changer for non-designers. They have a feature called Magic Design. Marcus just types, "I need an Instagram post advertising a spring cleaning special for mobile car detailing," and it generates fully laid out, brand-aligned graphics instantly.
Just from a text prompt?
Just from text. And let's say Marcus took a picture of a car he just cleaned, but there is an ugly garbage can in the background. He doesn't need to learn Adobe Photoshop layers or clone stamps. He uses Magic Edit or Magic Eraser with a quick swipe of his finger and the garbage can is gone.
The psychological shift there is profound. Marcus doesn't have to expend mental energy feeling frustrated by complex software interfaces. He just gets the result he wants and moves on to the next task. But what if he needs something really high-end? Say he wants to run a premium ad campaign targeting luxury car owners, but he doesn't have a Porsche to take pictures of.
That is where he turns to Midjourney. Midjourney is unparalleled for generating incredibly high-end, photorealistic imagery. Marcus can prompt the AI to generate a professional-grade visual of a gleaming black sports car under neon lights, with water beads perfectly rendered on the hood. He gets visuals that compete with custom, expensive photography studio shoots, all for the cost of a basic monthly subscription.
And I noticed in the sources there is significant mention of video, which is notoriously the most time-consuming and expensive marketing asset to produce. Editing video usually requires a massive computer and hours of rendering time.
Video editing used to mean long nights staring at a complex timeline, cutting clips together. Now you use platforms like Runway ML or Google VO3. With VO3, Marcus can literally type a text prompt like, "Cinematic slow motion shot of thick soap suds sliding down the windshield of a car," and the AI generates highly realistic B-roll footage from scratch.
It just makes the video out of thin air.
Yes, entirely generated. Or Runway ML allows him to take a regular video he shot on his phone, automatically remove the background, or use a feature called Motion Brush to add dynamic movement to a specific part of a still image. He is saving hours of tedious timeline editing, and his social media looks like it was produced by a full-time videographer.
So we've got sales managed proactively by the AI CRM and marketing generated by the suite of creative tools. Let's tackle what is arguably the hardest, most emotionally draining part of a service business.
Customer support.
Customer support. Dealing with angry emails, answering the exact same pricing questions 50 times a day. How do we build an AI stack that handles that without Marcus burning out?
The secret weapons here are unified communication platforms like Front and Zendesk. These tools take all of your communication channels, emails, website live chats, social media direct messages, SMS texts, and funnel them into one single organized inbox.
Which, just on its own, is a massive relief. No more logging into Instagram, then checking Gmail, then checking Facebook Messenger, terrified you missed a client message.
Exactly. The consolidation alone is a lifesaver. But here is where the AI truly revolutionizes the process. Let's imagine a scenario. It is 2:00 a.m. A frustrated client sends an angry email because they think Marcus scratched their rims during a detail.
Oh, the worst feeling.
In the past, that email would sit there like a ticking time bomb until Marcus woke up, read it, felt a spike of panic and adrenaline, and hastily typed out a defensive response. Now, Zendesk's intelligent triage immediately reads that incoming email the second it hits the server.
So the AI is acting as the first line of defense. What does it actually do with that email at 2:00 a.m.?
It understands the sentiment. It knows the customer's angry and the tone is aggressive. It detects the language and the core issue, which is a damage complaint. It automatically tags it as high priority and routes it to the top of Marcus's inbox so he sees it first thing. That's smart routing. But this is the amazing part. It actually suggests a polite, de-escalating, and accurate reply based directly on Marcus's own company policies and past interactions. It might draft something like, "I am so sorry to hear about your rims. We take this very seriously. Our policy is to come out and inspect any reported damage within 24 hours. What time works for you today?"
That is incredible. And if we connect this back to the broader theme of the deep dive, you can see the absolute relief this provides. Instead of the business owner wearing 10 hats and drowning in administrative tasks, they are now managing a team of highly capable digital assistants.
That's the perfect way to look at it.
The AI is doing the mundane data entry, drafting the emotionally taxing emails, creating the graphics, and categorizing the support tickets. It frees up the human being to do what humans actually do best: talking to clients face-to-face, building trust, doing the physical detailing work with excellence, and strategizing for the future of the business.
It completely changes the equation. It means the barrier to entry for building a sophisticated professional-level business has never been lower. You do not need a massive team to look and operate like a massive team.
I am completely sold on the vision. Let's say I'm in Marcus's shoes. I am starting my service business today. I want to build this exact stack. I need you to break it down for me practically. What is the easiest first action I should take? Give me the step-by-step roadmap.
Let's build it right now. We're going to construct this infrastructure in 4 distinct steps. Step 1, we start with the brain. This phase is all about ideation, research, and strategy.
Because every business, no matter how small, starts with a plan. And usually, writing a business plan or doing market research is a massive, intimidating hurdle that stops people before they even begin.
That is why you start simple. You do not stare at a blank Word document. You open up ChatGPT or Perplexity. Now, Perplexity is absolutely vital to understand here. It's an AI search engine. But unlike traditional AI chatbots that might just invent facts to sound confident, Perplexity actually searches the live web and cites its sources with clickable footnotes.
Which is huge for accuracy.
It compresses hours of tedious Googling into minutes.
Let's put Marcus back in the picture. How does he use Perplexity on his lunch break at the warehouse to get past that initial hurdle?
Marcus sits down at his kitchen table, feeling overwhelmed by local competitor research. Instead of opening 20 Chrome tabs and building a messy spreadsheet, he types a detailed prompt into Perplexity. He says, "What are the average prices for mobile detailing in Austin, Texas? And based on recent reviews of top competitors, what specific services are they missing or failing to deliver?"
Very specific.
Perplexity reads through 50 local websites and Yelp pages instantly, pulls out a synthesized answer, and puts little numbered footnotes next to the claims. It might tell him, the average price is $150, and customers frequently complain that competitors do not offer pet hair removal. Marcus can click those footnotes to verify the exact reviews. He just found his competitive edge in 3 minutes.
That is brilliant. But what if he needs something more formal? Say Marcus decides he needs a $5,000 small business loan to buy a commercial-grade pressure washer and a water tank for his truck. The bank is going to want a real business plan, not just a Perplexity chat log.
Then he uses a tool mentioned in our sources called UpMetrics. It is a dedicated AI business plan generator. Marcus doesn't need an MBA. He just answers a series of simple conversational questions about his mobile detailing idea, his target market, and his estimated costs.
So it guides him through it.
UpMetrics takes those inputs and generates the first formal draft of a business plan. It builds financial cash flow forecasts, calculates break-even points, and even generates investor-ready pitch decks instantly. It turned his rough ideas into a structured, credible reality that he can hand to a loan officer.
Fantastic. So step one is the brain. We have our plan, we have our competitive research, we have our financial forecast, but a plan in a PDF document doesn't get you paid. Customers actually need a place to find you and interact with you. I know the sources mentioned Lovable earlier for vibe coding. Is that where a non-technical founder like Marcus goes next to build his online presence?
Yes, that brings us to step 2, which is the storefront. You need a digital place for your customers to go. This is where we bring in Lovable, the vibe coding platform we discussed. Marcus doesn't need to learn how to code, he doesn't need to figure out complex web hosting, and he doesn't need to pay a developer $5,000. He just goes into Lovable and describes exactly what he needs in plain English.
I want to dive deep into this iteration process, because I imagine the AI doesn't always get it perfectly right on the very first try. How does Marcus actually work with the Lovable interface?
It's incredibly conversational. Marcus types, "I need a website for my mobile detailing business called Glean Detail. I need a front end where people can see my pricing tiers, and I need a secure booking page with a calendar." The AI generates the code and shows him a live preview.
Right there on the screen.
Right there. But let's say the colors are wrong. It generated a bright pink website, and Marcus wants something sleek and automotive. He just types in the chat, "Make it darker, use sleek blacks and metallic silvers, give it a premium automotive vibe." The AI updates the code in real time right in front of him.
So he is literally just art directing the AI. What about more complex features? Can he build something that actually stores customer data?
Absolutely. Once he liked the design, he can say, "Add a secure client portal where repeat customers can log in, save their vehicle details like make and model, and see their past invoices." The AI doesn't just draw a pretty picture of a login screen. It builds the back-end logic, creates the database schema to securely store that information, and connects it to the front-end interface. He has built a full-stack application.
That takes care of the storefront. People can find Gleam Detail, they can log in, and they can book a wash. But once those bookings start rolling in, Marcus needs to organize them. Which brings us to step 3.
Step 3 is the customer tracker. You need to set up your CRM so you don't lose track of anyone who visits your storefront. For a beginner like Marcus, the sources highly recommend starting with a powerful but accessible tool like HubSpot CRM.
Why HubSpot specifically? There are dozens of CRMs out there. What makes it the right choice for someone who has never used one before and might be intimidated by all the data fields?
It all comes down to how the platform guides you. Historically, setting up a CRM required hiring a consultant to configure all the columns and pipelines. It was a nightmare. HubSpot solves this with an AI called Breeze. When Marcus signs up for an account, Breeze provides a highly interactive, guided setup experience. It's almost like a welcome interview.
Like it's onboarding him.
Exactly. Breeze asks, "Hi Marcus, what is your primary goal?" Marcus replies, "I want to manage 50 regular mobile detailing clients." Breeze takes that information and automatically customizes his dashboard. It sets up the appropriate columns for vehicles, service dates, and addresses.
So it does the architectural setup for him. What about day-to-day use? How does Breeze help him actually communicate with these 50 clients?
The Breeze Copilot lives right there in his dashboard. When Marcus adds a new client, Breeze can analyze the client's profile and help draft the very first outreach email. It might say, "Welcome to Gleam Detail. I see you have a Ford F-150. Here is how we handle large trucks." It is incredibly welcoming and drastically reduces the friction of adopting a complex new software.
Okay, so let's review where Marcus is at. We have the brain for planning and research. We have the storefront built with Lovable so customers can book. And we have the customer tracker, HubSpot, to manage the relationships. But right now, these are all separate islands of data. The Lovable app doesn't automatically know about the HubSpot database. How do we connect them so Marcus doesn't have to manually copy and paste every new booking?
That is the crucial missing link, and it brings us to step 4, the glue. This is where you automate the boring stuff and create that orchestration layer we talked about earlier. You need an orchestration tool, and the top recommendations from our sources are Zapier or Active Pieces.
This is where things usually get technical and people's eyes glaze over. We need to explain how these tools actually talk to each other under the hood. Because it's not magic, it relies on the actual architecture of the internet. I've heard terms like APIs and webhooks thrown around. How do we explain these to Marcus so he understands what he is building?
It is entirely understandable once you have the right analogy. These tools communicate using APIs and webhooks. Let's make this really simple. Think of an API, which stands for Application Programming Interface, as a restaurant menu.
Okay, a menu.
When you go to a restaurant, you don't walk into the kitchen and start grabbing ingredients. You look at the menu, which tells you exactly what the kitchen is capable of making, and what you are allowed to order. An API is the menu that one app provides to another. It tells Zapier, here is the exact data you are allowed to request from HubSpot, and here's how you must ask for it.
I love the menu analogy. It sets the rules of engagement between the apps. But if the API is the menu, what is a webhook? Because I've heard that term used when things need to happen instantly.
A webhook is a digital trigger. Think of it like a doorbell. Let's go back to the restaurant. If you order food, you don't want to stand at the kitchen door constantly asking, is it ready? Is it ready? Is it ready? That is inefficient.
Very annoying for the chef.
Exactly. Instead, the chef gives you a buzzer. The exact millisecond your food is ready, the buzzer goes off. A webhook is that buzzer. When a new lead fills out the form on Marcus's Lovable site, the site doesn't wait for Zapier to come asking. It wings the webhook doorbell instantly, pushing the information outward the moment it happens.
That makes perfect sense. The API is the menu of what's possible, and the webhook is the doorbell that says, it's happening right now. So how does Marcus put the menu and the doorbell together in Zapier or active pieces to build a workflow?
He sets up an automated flow, which Zapier calls a zap. Let's walk through the exact sequence. A new customer, let's call him David, fills out the booking form on the Lovable storefront, asking for a full interior detail. The webhook rings the doorbell. Zapier catches that information instantly.
Okay, Zapier has the data.
Zapier then takes David's information and sends it to an AI like ChatGPT or Claude via their API. Zapier asks the AI, analyze this booking request. Is this a high-value customer based on the service requested? The AI evaluates it and says, yes, full interior details are high margin.
So the AI is making a business evaluation in real time. Then what?
Then the flow automatically logs all of that structured data into HubSpot CRM, tags David as a high-value lead, and finally sends a direct message to Marcus's phone via Slack or SMS integration saying, new high-value lead just booked. David, full interior. All of this happens in about 3 seconds, while Marcus is busy working on another car without him lifting a single finger.
That is the dream scenario. But I want to touch on something crucial here. What if the AI drafts a response to David, but it gets something wrong? Does Marcus have to just trust the AI blindly? Our sources mention a really important feature in active pieces called human in the loop. How does that protect Marcus?
That is one of the most powerful features of modern orchestration. You do not have to let the AI operate completely autonomously if you are not comfortable with it. With the human in the loop feature, you can set the automation to pause at a critical moment. Let's say the AI drafts a highly personalized welcome email for David, offering a specific date for the detail.
Right, but Marcus might be busy that day.
Exactly. So before it actually executes the API command to click send in Gmail, it sends Marcus a notification. Marcus opens his phone, reads the drafted email, ensures the date actually works for his schedule, clicks approve, and then the automated flow resumes and sends the email.
That is brilliant. It gives Marcus the massive efficiency of an AI drafting the communication, but with the ultimate safety net of human oversight. He stays in control of his business's voice. It's the ultimate power-up for a solo business owner.
Exactly. It's about leverage, not replacement.
All right, I have to step in here and play the skeptic, because this is my job. We have painted a picture of a business that practically runs itself while you sip coffee or focus entirely on the physical work. We have Marcus setting up this flawless, automated empire in a weekend. What is the catch? I refuse to believe it is this seamless.
It's not magic, you're right.
What are the actual honest challenges of relying on this AI stack in the real world today? Because technology is never flawless, and if someone is listening to this and wants to start tomorrow, they need to know where the landmines are.
That is a completely fair challenge, and our sources are very clear about the realities of implementation. We are not using scare tactics here, but there are grounded, frustrating truths you must understand before you dive in. The first major challenge is the fundamental rule of data science, which is garbage in, garbage out.
This is huge, especially when we talk about that customer tracker step. The CRM is only as good as what you put into it.
Precisely. AI CRMs like Zoho Zia or HubSpot's Breeze rely entirely on the quality of the data you feed them. They are not mind readers. If Marcus's customer records are a mess, if he has duplicate names for the same client, outdated email addresses, or if he frequently forgets to log whether a client actually paid their invoice, the AI's advice will be completely generic or flat out wrong.
It's just working with what it has.
The AI might tell Marcus to reach out to a client who actually moved out of state 3 months ago simply because Marcus never updated the file. The AI can only spot brilliant patterns if the data is meticulously clean. You have to maintain strict data hygiene, or the AI is essentially useless.
That makes perfect sense. The AI is a powerful engine, but clean data is the fuel. If you put bad fuel in, the engine sputters. What is the next landmine Marcus needs to watch out for?
The second challenge is a phenomenon the industry calls the hallucination problem.
Let's define that clearly, because when people hear hallucination, they think the AI is seeing ghosts or becoming sentient. That's not what it means in this context. It means the AI confidently presents false information as if it were an absolute, verifiable fact.
Yes, the confidence is what makes it dangerous. And this hallucination problem happens across the board in almost every tool we've discussed. In Lovable, for instance, Marcus might ask the AI to fix a specific software bug on his booking calendar. Maybe dates are selecting incorrectly. The AI might write some code, respond cheerfully, and say the calendar bug is fully fixed.
But it's not.
But when Marcus actually tests the live website, it's still broken. Or worse, the AI broke something else in the process. Or, if he uses Perplexity for research, it might occasionally misinterpret a source document or combine two different statistics incorrectly to give him a false average price.
Which ties perfectly back to that human-in-the-loop concept we discussed with active pieces. You have to be the editor. You cannot be a passive observer in your own business. You have to verify the code, read the emails before they go out, and double-check the research. Are there any operational or strategic challenges when a beginner is setting all this up?
Yes. The third major challenge is the overwhelming complexity trap. It is incredibly easy to get excited by a deep dive like this, go online, and try to buy the biggest, most complex enterprise software available because you think it will make you more professional. The sources specifically warn against a beginner jumping straight into massive platforms like Salesforce or trying to configure an intricate ClickUp AI workspace on day one.
Why is that a trap? Salesforce is obviously a global powerhouse. Why shouldn't Marcus use what the Fortune 500 companies use?
Because enterprise tools require intense setup, deep administration, and they have a massive, unforgiving learning curve. They are built for teams of 50 salespeople, not a solo founder. If Marcus tries to configure a multi-layered enterprise CRM, he will experience complete paralysis. He will spend 40 hours a week fighting the software, watching tutorials, and tweaking settings instead of actually going out and detailing cars. The software becomes a full-time job in itself.
That is a crucial warning. Don't build a corporate infrastructure for a one-person startup. And frankly, we haven't even talked about budgets yet. Because when we casually list out all these tools, ChatGPT Plus, Perplexity Pro, Lovable, HubSpot, Zapier, Canva Magic Studio, Midjourney, that all adds up. What are the hidden costs that creep up on you?
Budgets absolutely matter, and AI is not always cheap. Many of these tools have freemium models that hook you, and then the costs scale rapidly. Let's look at the reality of the pricing. Microsoft Copilot, for example, is amazing for generating documents in Words or summarizing Teams meetings. But it costs $30 per user per month on top of the Microsoft ecosystem fees you are already paying. If you eventually hire a team, that gets expensive fast.
And what about the automation layer? Zapier isn't entirely free, is it?
Not at scale. Zapier is incredible, but its free tier maxes out at just 100 automated tasks a month. Let's say Marcus runs a great Facebook ad that Canva helped him design. He gets 200 leads in a single weekend. Zapier will process the first 100, and then suddenly his automation simply stops working.
It just cuts off.
The doorbell stops ringing. He loses leads because he hit the free tier limit, and then he's forced to bump into the paid tiers, which scale up based on usage.
That is a terrifying scenario for a small business, having your infrastructure break because you were too successful too fast. What about the vibe coding tools, like Lovable? Do you just pay a flat monthly fee to build your app?
Lovable uses a credit-based pricing model, which can be tricky. Every time you ask the AI to generate a new page, write a new feature, or fix a bug, it costs you computational credits. If Marcus runs into a tricky bug and has to spend an hour going back and forth debugging with the AI, asking to try different solutions, those credits drain very quickly. Once you are out of credits, you have to buy more to keep building. It requires ongoing costs that you have to budget for.
So we have painted a very realistic picture. We have the absolute necessity of clean data, the constant risk of AI hallucinations, the danger of getting trapped in complex enterprise software, and the reality of hidden scaling costs. Given all of that, what is the reassurance here? How does someone listening, someone like Marcus or anyone else, actually navigate this safely without getting overwhelmed or going broke?
The reassurance is incredibly simple, and it is the golden rule of this entire deep dive. Start small. You do not need to automate your entire business on day one. Do not go out and buy 10 different software subscriptions today. Look at your daily routine and pick just one or two tools to solve your biggest, most painful, immediate bottleneck.
Let's apply that. If a listener hates staring at a blank screen trying to write marketing emails, what should they do?
Just get a ChatGPT or Writer subscription. Don't worry about the rest yet. Use it just for writing. If your biggest pain point is losing track of leads because they are in your notebook, just set up one simple Zapier automation to move your website leads to a free HubSpot CRM.
Yeah.
That's it. Master those tools. Prove to yourself that they actually save you time and make you money. Once you are comfortable, then slowly add the next piece to your stack. Building an AI infrastructure is a marathon, not a sprint.
I think that is the perfect, grounded advice. We have covered a massive amount of ground today, from the paradigm shift of vibe coding full applications to orchestrating invisible workflows with APIs and webhooks, from unifying customer support to navigating the hidden costs and hallucinations. We need to distill this down for the listener. If the person listening remembers just one thing from this entire hour we've spent together, what should that core takeaway be?
Here is the distilled lesson. The era of AI being a novelty is over. AI is no longer just a magic 8-ball that answers trivia questions or writes funny poems. It has evolved into a fully capable suite of digital employees. Your new job as a business owner isn't to put your head down and do every single manual, repetitive task yourself. Your job has fundamentally changed. Your role now is to be the manager. Your responsibility is to clearly describe what you want, carefully connect the right tools to build your assembly line, and then strategically manage, edit, and verify the outputs of your digital team.
And what is truly beautiful about that shift is how it deeply empowers anyone who has the drive to succeed. It absolutely levels the playing field in the business world. It doesn't matter if you have zero technical background. It doesn't matter if you failed high school computer science or if you don't know the first thing about server hosting. If you can speak plain English, if you understand the value you want to provide to your customers, and if you can think logically about how a workflow should operate, you have the power to build an empire with these tools.
You hit the nail on the head. And that brings us to our final provocative thought for you to take with you today. Consider the massive implication of everything we just discussed. If anyone, literally anyone with an internet connection can use these AI tools to build a robust business infrastructure, write perfect marketing copy, generate stunning visuals, and launch a working app in a single weekend, then the technology itself is no longer your competitive advantage. The tech stack is just the new baseline. Everyone will have it.
So what separates the successful businesses from the failures in 2026?
The real advantage, the absolute core thing that will actually make your business succeed and build lasting loyalty, is what the AI cannot do. It is the unique human relationships you build. It is the genuine empathy you show your clients when they have a frustrating problem. It is the highly personal touch, the firm handshake that create vision, and the physical excellence that only you can provide. The AI handles the logistics so you can handle the humanity. So as you go out and set up this incredible automated tech stack, ask yourself, what human touch are you going to double down on?
That is the defining question for any entrepreneur in 2026.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you feel equipped, grounded, and deeply inspired. Take a look at the tools that stood out to you most. Remember to start small and start building your future. We will see you next time.